Hey guys, it's your humble host, or Kill if you prefer, so I'm back with another video. So, this is a situation that happened 2 years ago, but I want to talk about it because it came across my desk a few days ago, or a reference to it, and I was not happy when I discovered what the entirety of the situation is, and it shows an example of what's still going on today. So, as you can see from the title, a costly decision. Christian animator's business blacklisted for declining to draw trans flag. And there's, in the document, because I read the 6-page freaking pile of garbage, there's a document that's quoted in this article, and it has to do with someone named Lupis Vulpes. Has to do with the animation community. You know, the drama-filled one that focuses more on bullshit than art. So, without further ado, let's read through this. So, yeah, a hate campaign has destroyed yet another business, but this time it's a Regent University student's successful animation work that had paid for her education, which is why I don't think I could go through college. Simply because all it takes is one person to recognize me, and you guys know how the college campuses are these days. To me, it's not worth the bullshit. It really isn't. Ever since she's been able to hold a crayon, art has been Emily Arant's passion. At age 11, I saw people drawing online and animated online, she said. I was just instantly drawn. No pun intended, I want to do that too. That was 11 years ago. Since then, Arant has made a name for herself as Lupis Vulpes, a top animator known for her eye-popping animal characters and more than 200,000 YouTube subscribers. Her business proved so successful that she used it to pay for college. So far, she's covered her tuition, room, and board for her first year in the fall semester of her sophomore year. I know it's just the Lord, and he's blessed it so much, said Arant. But she's also known for sometimes that her public testimony is risky, and it is. On her Twitter bio, she openly defines as a follower of Christ, and a legit follower, not the progressive Christians you see running around. Oh, God didn't say anything about homosexuality. Yes, he did. I kind of stayed out in this community like I stood with them because I love Christ and I didn't draw the same things that other people would draw, she explained. The hammer came down this summer when she refused to customer request. The first commissioned her to draw a character and later asked that she include the flag for the transgender movement. I told them I don't feel comfortable doing that. I'm a Christian, she said. And because you'll see in the Discord snapshot, if you go through the document itself, because it has some screenshots and some of the context is missing for these shots, is she didn't draw anything that was sexual and had to do with causes. So that's part of it too. Then Arant says another customer insisted that she donate money towards and promote the organization Black Lives Matter. They wanted me to earn a bunch of money for the organization as well as advertise for it, but it just felt weird and manipulative, so I wasn't going to do that. And BLM is a Marxist movement, socialist movement. If you really want to get down to brass tacks, because they have been dumbing stuff down for people of color for a while, it keeps people of color trapped, thinking that they're always going to be oppressed, that they're always going to be victimized, that everything has to be dumbed down for them in order for them to succeed. You don't believe me? Look at what they're trying to do with math. Go look at that. Suddenly math is racist. Anyway, that's when Arant's world suddenly came crashing down. It happened as she was driving to Regent for the fall semester. My phone started to blow up with messages and alerts from people, she said. The animation community had quickly turned on her. They're hostile, they're volatile, and they're just drama people. Beginning what's known as an official call-out, namely for what it labeled her as transphobic and homophobic. Let me click on this. What is this? Oh, something that you will notice too if you go through the document, there's stuff that has been removed. Multiple videos picked apart what she had done, as well as her video response to critics, and what she really didn't directly address their allegations, but instead focus on sharing the gospel. So their allegations was, and here's like the big thing in the nutshell, well, you're using your religion, your beliefs to discriminate. Sorry, I'm really freaking tired. So, and doing this is kind of mentally taxing because it's a bunch of bull. So let me address a few things because that document, and there's one or two things I want to show you. One that really has me freaking worried, and another one which is really effing stupid. So to start off, because this is a lot of arguments from the LGBTQ people, is that they go, oh, well, you used your religion or whatnot, that did not help, to discriminate, and you're against gay rights and all that stuff. Matthew 19:4-6, and I know you guys can't see it all the way, so I'm just going to read it. I need to adjust the screen. And he answered and said to them, have you not read that he who made them at the beginning made them male and female, not interchangeable, biological sex, male and female, just two, and said, for this reason a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, woman, and the two shall become one flesh. So then they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, let man not separate. And before people start screaming at me that I am cherry picking stuff, let me assure you that that is within context, and let me explain the background of that verse, because pretty much you had the Pharisees coming up to Jesus asking about divorce. Well, Moses said this about divorce, and that we can divorce. Jesus responded to them, well, because you guys are disobedient, Moses had to make a law for you guys on what grounds the woman can divorce or the man can divorce the woman. And then in those verses, he defined marriage as a whole, covering all the bases between man and woman, male and female. No one else is to be involved. He covered all of that. And then that's just two verses about how marriage is supposed to be within context. Sorry, I've heard so many arguments from especially progressive Christians that Jesus never talked about it. Yes, he did. He made a statement that encompassed everything that marriage is supposed to be. So, let's continue. Pastor Lance Beacon teaches at Regent University and has become a mentor to Arendt. He admires how she responded and the questions she asked him. I'm so very blessed by the fact that she didn't ask how might I find legal representation, what can I do about the income, protecting my rights, but instead she said, how can I make sure I respond as a Christian, and that I use this opportunity to let God develop me and show Christian love, he said. So, I mean, so it's a case by case what each person feels that God is leading them to do. Like you have Jack Phillips, that's his livelihood. And I'm not saying that this is not her or wasn't her livelihood, but Jack Phillips and a lot of people are like, no, it's time to fight back. It's time to get our hands and feet dirty. And you see that with Jeff Younger of the Save James case. He's running for House Representative. I forget which district. I want to say either 3 or 5 in Texas. But because he's got screwed over so much by the courts, he just like, okay, we're going to go this route. And I applaud him. I applaud a lot of people standing up and fighting. And there's a saying that's going around because a lot of people have had it with this crap. It's no longer our job to wake our sheep, or excuse me, it's no longer viable to wake up the sheep. It's time to wake up the other lions. So pretty much a lot of people at this point are like, screw the sheep, wake up the other lions because it's time to fight back now. So, and I agree, there's too many people that either they're going to wake up or they're not. You can't chase everybody. It doesn't work that way. Despite demands from her online critics, Arendt will not apologize. Good. So the animation community that used to rave over and commission her work has now blacklisted it. As far as my business, I believe it's destroyed, she said, but Arendt is not giving up on her education. Excellent. The Lord has told me to go to Regent, so I'm going to continue to go to Regent until the Lord closes the door, she explained, and she believes he will use the hate campaign for his purposes. It looks like from the outside that I've lost, but I really think this has been a victory for the Lord. If this could have helped one person to find Christ, then it's worth it to me to lose my whole business, and I really mean that, she said. So that, I do agree with that because, we see a lot of people fighting back. I've seen graphic design stores go under because they refuse to do any paraphernalia for the LGBTQ. And I would gladly, if I had a business, I'd freaking set it on fire before doing something that would violate my beliefs. I've lost relationships. I've distanced myself from servers. I have lost relationships from family, friends, acquaintances, people who used to respect me but didn't realize what I stood for because I didn't pay attention. I'm not a hateful person, but I totally agree. Violating your beliefs is not worth the money. It's not worth the popularity, because at the end of the day, like, I'll use this example too. You've seen this with the bigger YouTubers, you see this with influencers, you see this with freaking people in Hollywood, to where they don't want to be hated and they want to keep their position of power, they want to keep their money flow, they want to keep all this and that, so they will swing whatever way will keep them relevant on top, keep the money flowing in, and that's just how it is. Anybody who sticks to the Bible as a whole, I'm not like gonna get on my soapbox, how dare you sinners. No, I'm not doing none of that shit. But for anybody who truly wants to follow the Word of God, and it's hard, Christianity does not make life easy. People who are telling you that, run from, because they're lying to you. They're full on lying to you. Following God does put you at odds with the rest of the world, and it's going to continue to do so, and it's going to continue to get worse. There is a war on the nuclear family, father, mother. There is a war on society as a whole. You have certain groups of people targeted to keep their families apart, because if the family is whole, it's unshakable. When you have multiple families who are unshakable, standing on the Word of God, you have a stronger society that will not back down. And when you break down the family, you break down society. Communism did it. Other parts of the world are still doing it. So, with that being said, there was two things I wanted to show here. One of them really scares me, and I want clarity on this. I don't care who finds this video. I want clarity on this shit, because this... Let me just show you. Okay, let me make sure you guys can see this proper. You can. Okay, so this is not given a freaking timestamp, because of course it's not. The con. Two major things of note happened at the convention I went up to Lup. Lup talked to me about Jensen, a stalker. I will not be discussing details about the story Lup told me at the convention about her ex. It was a personal story, and I'm not about sharing people's personal stories about how shitty they are. So... already indication one that there was stuff that happened. Okay? And Lup divulged to this friend at the time, and it sounds like it's some really bad stuff. However, there's one thing I wanted to note about the talk. So, catch this, because you have seen this multiple times. You've seen this with Chris Chan, you've seen this with Jonathan Yaniv, or Jessica. Oh, well, even though they did something bad, we shouldn't misgender them, but when usually it's a guy being a freaking creep. So, anyway, I didn't know Jensen. I met Lup post-Jensen. I vaguely knew of him, but not enough to know what was being told. What I was being told was about Jensen until after I talked to Lup's longer friends about Jensen. As you guys probably know, Jensen was Lup's ex. What time do we have? Excellent. And also trans, meaning it was a girl pretending to be a guy. Keep that in mind. That info is all public. When Lup was talking to me, she referred to him as my ex and she and her. Rightfully so, because Jensen sounds like they were a biological female. At the time, I remember thinking, Lup dated a girl, because I had no idea, and it was surprising to me since everyone told me she was straight. Keep that in mind too, because for those of you, the lights have already come on. Oh yeah, this better not be what I think I'm getting from this. But I always shrugged it off because, question sexuality happens and all that. It was more like a moment. I had no clue the extent of what I was listening to. The story's contents aside, meaning it does not matter what is being told to me about Jensen, this woman pretending to be a guy. All that matters is that Lup misgendered her ex. Now, feel free to read the rest of this BS, because I go through, it makes me feel so disgusting for participating in the conversation at all. I don't care how much a person hurt you, misgendering is not okay. After finding this out, it made me think about the misgendering that occurred to me. Okay, so let me point something out. 3 things here. There's already indication that something went down in the relationship, and I don't care for relationship drama, but this is why I'm pointing this particular piece out. So something already happened. This person gives no fucks. It does not matter what happened. All that matters to them is Lup misgendered them. Okay? 2, Lup is straight. So that begs the question. Oh, I forgot to read this. So this is the third question. The story contents aside, I thought I read this. Jensen was identified as he, him, as long as Lup knew him, according to those I talked to. So here's the third question. And this is, I want clarity on this, and I'm probably never going to get it. Did Jensen start dating Lup, giving her the impression that she was a guy and never told Emily that she was a girl? If this is the case, that is beyond wrong, that is disgusting, that is secret edges, that is so violating, it's not even funny. I want this cleared up. Because if that's the case, because notice the second keyword here, stalker 2. Did Emily meet Jensen already trying to be a guy and didn't know Jensen was a girl, and then they started dating, Jensen misleading Emily? If that's the case, that is really fucked up. And they're trying to go after Emily for this? If that's the case, if I'm misreading this, and Emily knew Jensen was a girl from the beginning and started to transition or try to be a guy and dated her anyway, then that is a whole different story. But if it's the first one, if it's the impression I'm getting off of this, that is so fucked up, and I've heard stories of this happening before. There's actually something that came out in Australia a month ago to where a guy dumped his girlfriend after finding out she was a biological male. Went, nope. Because that violates people's beliefs, that is trickery. Some people even equate that crap to rape. Not saying it is, but some do equate that to rape. So I want that cleared up. I'm probably never going to, but that triggered my oh shit meter. So here's another thing that I want to bring up, and it has to do, two things. So let me, this. Okay, for anyone who has dealt with pedophiles online or had people come to you saying, hey, so-and-so did this, they're a pedophile, you need to get them out of your server. Any rational person, because it happened to me with my ex-co-host of By the Hearth, Ichabod Orange, Leo Convoy, came to me saying, hey, I got some questions for you. Okay, cool, ask them. And these are the questions I was asked. How do you feel about someone who is in their late 20s telling a 7-year-old that I will wait for you till you're 18? Creepy, disgusting, why he's doing it. And when I got told as my co-host, I'm like, I need proof of this, my dude. I was provided proof, like a rational person. Rational people discussing the situation. So, let me read you this, because alleged anonymous user, a user whose name has now been redacted with these claims being proven false, keep that in mind, was one of many new patrons coming into Lupis' now defunct Discord server for her Patreon. Stepwitcher, who was previously mentioned above, was one of the few members at the time who knew of the situation surrounding this user. Step messaged Lupis privately, expressing reasonable discomfort and concern. However, Lupis gave more of a cold, business-like reaction for having been told someone could very well have been a danger to minors and the servers. Given no proof, and you will see that from the screenshot. Again, although this party has since been cleared, this does not change the fact that Lupus' response to a then-bullied predator was inexcusable. Despite this, Lupus did not listen nor take any kind of direct action. If you provided no proof, what action should they take? Not everybody does the Me Too shit. Sorry. Thus allowing the user to remain in the Patreon server, of which a majority of its members were minors, being under 18. The following morning, a vague announcement regarding the closing of the server was made. No direct address of the situation has been made since then. So let me click on this. I don't mean to start anything or come across as rude, but I'm really, really uncomfortable on the server as this person redacted. But I just wanted to let you know in case you didn't know about it. So we're not shown the evidence, so that's why I said there is no evidence, because first off, this could have been a drawing, this could have been a screenshot, and those are faked so many times before. So we're not given proof of what why this person thought this anonymous user was a predator. And the document even says that they were cleared. So what was presented that set this person off to begin with, and how was it proven false? Again, we get no context. When people go after people like this are just based off of emotion and nothing more, they don't give the full context. They refuse to. So it makes me really upset because I want to support you and be in the server with you because I miss talking to you, but I don't know if I can stomach being in the same room as someone who's okay with these kind of things. Spoiler, because very not safe for work and frankly disgusting. We have no idea what the hell this is, if this even belonged to the anonymous user, because as the document said, the anonymous user was cleared. Again, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I'm not sure if I can do anything to remove them unless they broke one of the rules in the group. So, you know what, that's fair. I'm really sorry. I hate that. I have no idea they were into any of that. I only know them for their animations. I'm sorry that I could keep an eye out to make sure things are safe. I just found your discomfort. Again, I'm sorry. So, this is a case by case with every server admin. Like for me, if someone is proven to be a predator or a sex pest or something, I boot them to the curb. But I have to have hard proof, in context, legitimate proof that is backed up. And I was given that about my ex-co-host, who just went, oh, crap. No. So, but we get no context as to what it was. It was just not safe for work, and because a person felt comfortable, even though there's no proof of this anonymous individual posting this stuff in said server. We don't have any of the context whatsoever, so Emily's being accused, Lupis is being accused of enabling predators. I'm sorry, you have people who will post not safe for work on Twitter, be in various discords, and not post any of that stuff at all. We have no context as to what it was. Nothing. So you're accusing her, they accused her of keeping predators in her Discord, even though the guy was proven not to be a predator. His art was never shared in the Discord, just from what I'm assuming, because even Lupis says, well, I didn't know he was into that. I just know about the animations. Or them, whoever it was. But still, what the hell? These people are just nuts. Okay, so let's see. This thing is provided by. Okay, let me see what this is, because this is. Okay, hey, look, I want to talk about something having to do with the fur. If you're not busy, okay, no worries. What's up? Here's this, by the way, also a warning. It is about demons, the spirit realm, so it's a bit creepy. Okay. I just wanted to ask if you knew what Jared looks like. I was recently told by Kai that he was telling me that he had a crush on me a few days after I told him I never wanted to have a relationship with anyone. I'm just a lot creeped out by him suddenly and would like to avoid all costs if possible. This is not a predator. You got creeped out, and this dude's being accused of predator because he said he had a crush. Oh gosh, he messages me after too. That's why I've been creeped out too. I'm sad he's done that too as well. So, okay, so there's no context for the messages. Was he being a sex pest? Because if he was, that was like legit messed up. But did you guys ever tell him no? Did you mute him? Did you give him warnings? What is the context here? I don't know if he means any harm, but yeah, let me get a pic of him. No worries, I love that sort of stuff. Actually, when I mentioned my mom reading me the other book, I get this has to be the other thing. Okay, no worries, I just want to give a fair warning since it's about dark things. It's interesting to know how demons work against people and trick. But yeah, about Jared. I honestly wasn't expecting it with Jared. He seemed cool in my interactions, but like it seems like the moment I expressed him I'm very not into relationships wasn't even because he asked the topic. Kind of came up naturally when we were discussing stuff, so I really didn't expect much to come of it. Then a few days later, he asked Kai for advice on confessing a crush to me. He's coming to Denver. Is that supposed to be Denver? Or Denver, or is that a con? I don't know what Denver is. Yeah, I think we should definitely stick together through the con, save for numbers. So my question is, did anybody tell this person no? I've been praying a lot about this because I'm very uncomfortable about him coming. I mean, so she was uncomfortable too. But again, he's coming out from Canada to hang out with us, and I'm like, I just don't know him. I feel nervous. I know he's having bad intentions, but yeah, this is creepy for both of us. So because this is what a lot of my gender does. Instead of being vocal, hey, we're not okay with this, we're not interested, blah, 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 and giving warnings and possibly kicking him out. I mean, was any of this done? Yeah, I'm gonna tell my mom about it so that she's coming. It'll be good that she's aware of it. I think we should try to just enjoy the con and minimize interactions with him if possible. Don't tell him where we're going to be and stuff. Definitely, so you guys are trying to ghost him more than tell him, no, we don't want you around. We're not interested. Don't tell him we're going to be and stuff. Definitely don't invite him to the room or something. Me, 23-year-old, telling my mom about someone who scares me, so I feel safe. I wasn't so worried about it first, but I'm thinking he's planning to tell me about his crush at Denver, and if that's the case, I would rather avoid it at all costs. So they continue the conversation, and let's see, what is it? Jared on hiatus art says, I have something to confess. Don't worry, it's not too serious. It's just that I don't know how to say this because I'm getting super anxious typing this down. I have a crush on you, to be honest. I think you're really sweet, cool, and a cute person. Okay, so it's a compliment. But we don't have any screenshots of the text messages. What was he saying in DMs? A few things. Thanks. I'm glad I'm a cool person to you. I'm sure you expected this, but I don't really have a crush back, nor will I ever. And if you're hoping for that, probably stop before you hurt yourself. I'm way too old for you. I don't know what all these weird letters are. No problem. It's just something I need to get off my chest for a while now. To be honest, I kind of expected that, but I'm not hurt. But can we stay friends, though? And she goes, I suppose so. I don't have a lot of time anymore to chat. I got a lot of anxiety from random DA notes. So I was on DA. So let's see. Blocked message. Oh, sorry. Could you please send me a link to the server? So he respected. He backed off. Wanted to play Minecraft. So again, like there's nothing more here. The user Jared mentioned in it had previously made unsolicited romantic advances. How? There's no context. There's no freaking screenshot. On both Space and Lupus herself. On top of this, Jared has been reported to have stalked the duo during Denver 2008. It's not. So from that conversation on, because this is where Emily also screwed up because they didn't tell him no. I'm going to assume that conversation was right before or after the convention. Like, timelines, what are those? Causing Space to have a panic attack, concern was brought to Lupus and consequently disregarded despite both Lupus and Space being uncomfortable with his presence. How was it disregarded when she said that they should stick together? I'm glad your mom knows, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so this is the last freaking cringy thing because we're already at a half an hour here. Culture appropriation. Oh, I hate that word so much. Lupus has a bad habit of appropriating indigenous culture in her artwork. She has been made aware of this on multiple occasions that she continues to implement it into her creations. Current known examples of this appropriation and racial stereotyping can be seen here. So, I looked at this too. So, Tribal Design Commission for Bealery. A little bit graphic-ish, but it seems to be a made-up tribe and not indicative of any particular type of tribe. How dare she put feathers or make up her own sort of tribe? And, I'm not stupid. I know certain feathers mean certain things. How many feathers, what type of animals they come from can signify certain things. Like you have the Wampanoag. If you guys saw my Thanksgiving art in my Discord or on my YouTube, I actually researched what feathers they used because I did a Discord banner based off of the actual history of Thanksgiving. and the Wampanoag, if I mispronounced that, I'm sorry. They were very much akin to turkey feathers. So I included that in the artwork, and so I did something quite a bit different. But again, so I'm not entirely ignorant. And again, putting tribal stuff on animals, or just on a character no less, if you're making up your own tribe, it did not look like she was trying to use any tribe in particular. I don't know what stereotypes are even here. Are you talking about the face paint? Are you talking about the feathers? I mean, so this is the other type of stupidity that's like, what is wrong with this? What is wrong with this? The ropes, the frog, the hair. What is wrong with this? Window like character design commission for Scully month. I don't know if this is included into it. So as I said, these people very much unhinged. They ran somebody out. And the animation community as a whole, just from what I've seen in the multiple videos and stuff, are just, it's usually drama filled, but I don't know why this did not come across my desk before. I'm surprised I didn't hear about it, but a lot of people I follow who comment on the animation community, I have to assume either they didn't hear about it either, or they refuse to touch the stuff with the 9-foot pole. Very polarizing stuff, very controversial, but still. Somebody wrongfully got ran out, and I've said this before on my channel, I've said this before to people, these communities, particularly the furry one, the art animation one is kind of a mixed bag, but if you try to attach yourself to the furry community, it's very much sexualized, very degenerative. At its core, there's actually a video of the history of the furry community, how it came to be, and it started with animals being drawn and depicted in sexual, graphic, violent situations by two old men. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell, and it kind of expanded from there. And so I wanted to talk about this because, again, this stuff is still happening. This stuff is still going on. Like, for example, you just had Adele, the singer Adele, forget her first name, apologize, get blasted because she went to a genderless awards. They took out male singer, female singer, and she pretty much said on stage, I enjoy being a female singer, I really do. And she's getting lambasted for being transphobic, a TERF, and it's like, you can't even state basic facts anymore. You can't have a different point of view without being called transphobic. Now, in this particular case, it's Christianity. Christianity is never going to be in line with LGBTQ values. It's never going to back up the transgender ideology, the LGBTQ ideology. It strongly opposes it, and it's strongly against it. I looked at the comments. And there's one comment that really caught me, and it explains the entire thing in a nutshell. Well, she had good artwork, but too bad Christianity ruined it for her. Something along those lines. So, and it kind of goes back to what she was saying in the article, and she goes, you know what, it's a victory for God, because even if one person comes to Christ, it's worth losing my business. And a lot of Christians do feel that way. Like, I could lose my channel. If it was between my channel, my livelihood, versus standing up for what God wanted me to, I'm going to go with God. Because at the end of the day, and I believe I already explained this in the video, going over the article, is that you have people who are willing to follow whatever way is convenient, or whatever way is going to keep them in the spotlight, whatever way they feel is going to keep people loving them. I just watched a video recently, I believe it's either Turkey Tom or Tom Dark, talking about Ethan Klein. And if you guys remember the old Ethan Klein, He used to be edgy, funny, and things like that. I even watched him from time to time, but now he's just a political freaking hack. And he's stupid. He's taken the stupid pill and he has ran with it. So in Tom's video, because both Tom Dark and Turkey Tom, they're the same YouTuber, just two different channels, was talking about how Ethan Klein had created this audience that he kept trying to please and eventually started to turn on him, and is starting to get pissed and slowly angry with him because this is a group of people you can never please. Same thing can be said for people in the animation community, LGBT. There's another piece in there, that stupid document about Emily not wanting to do LGBTQ representation. Many artists don't want to put that shit in their media simply because it goes against their values. I'm sorry, we don't hate you, but a lot of us stand for traditional marriage, the traditional nuclear family, mother, father, sister, brother, and stand for what God has called people for marriage, husband, wife, man, and woman, and the like. So, no, we don't want to put that stuff in there. And frankly, as of late, because I do follow some of the comic book stuff, you have users like Just Some Guy, you have your boy Zach, you have the Umbrella Guy, you have Yellow Flash 2. You just have multiple people. And Clownfish TV talks about it. There's a lot of people I had watched coverage from in regards just to the comic book industry alone, and they're trying to, and also Overlord DVD or Dr. Doomcock. They were trying to emasculate any of the male characters, leads, like for example, and this one, I'm sorry, trigger warning in advance, for those of you who know what they did to Superman, and this is right before they're taking all the heads out from the Justice League, you have, they're removing Batman, Superman, they completely freaking emasculated by having him sexually violated. I don't remember what happened to Flash. He wasn't really ahead. But still, you have this. I know this is fiction, but this is a culture war. This is what they've been doing to the media for a while. Oh, we're going to remove strong male characters and replace them with these shitty-ass, gender-bent, transgender, freaking, controlling women characters. And I'm not against women leads. I know I'm going off into the weeds here, but I want to point something out. You have the same group of people that have infiltrated many facets of media wanting, well, we want it this way, we want it this way, go away with masculinity, go away with true femininity, how dare you show a straight relationship, why don't you show two gay dudes kissing? Because we don't fucking want to. It's not something that we want to promote. Screw your representation. A lot of people are freaking fed up. For those of you who do not know me, because I don't know, my channel's pretty much dead at this point. It's been dead for quite a few months, and you know what? I'm okay with it. But for those of you who don't know me, because I had one dude arguing with me in the comments about lupus, and I pretty much said, hey, fella, do you know who you're debating with? Not indicating I'm some big person, but it's like, have you bothered to take a look who you're debating with? I do, whether or not debate is worth even having. And I don't think they responded back to me, but it's like, yeah, no, I'm with Lupus. I'm with Emily. I want to do LGBT media either. I don't hate these people, but it goes against the Word of God. It goes against my beliefs. And for those of you who have been on my channel for a while, been around me, know what I'm involved with. There's no way in hell I'd ever entertain this stuff, because especially now. And as I've explained before, I was more tolerant of it a few years ago. And then when I got involved with the Save James stuff, I just went, oh, hell no. No. And then I have my own personal struggles, my own story. For those of you who don't know, I'm a survivor of sexual abuse. And with that came multiple struggles. And one of them, as I was a teen, I did get confused about my sexuality because I did want to be a guy, because I didn't want to be seen as the weaker sex. I didn't want to be seen as a victim. And so I had equated being a guy, much to my ignorance, to being a strong person. because of what happened to me. And thank God I had parents who stepped in, and thank God this stuff wasn't prevalent when I was in high school, a young adult, and I've told people before, and I've said this on Facebook, I've said this on the St. James page, my father's mantle, and I've even had people acknowledge this, people who knew my family growing up have acknowledged this, that my father's mantle is what saved me, prevented me from destroying myself. And that he's represented with my white spade, which I actually got in a dream. And so people are like, well, you're crazy. You know what? I don't give a shit. There's stuff I've been documenting about my chambers and everything for quite a few years now, ever since I started the chambers of my heart. And it's been a journey. And right now I've kind of hit a wall. But so many people, and this is why I wanted to cover this. I don't care who this upsets. I don't whatever. I'm done caring. I'm heartbroken for the people who are led astray, who feel, because it's all about feeling that this is the right way for them to destroy themselves and mutilate themselves. If you want a real eye-opener and you want to see the freaking double standards and the freaking mental gymnastics, go watch Matt Walsh's video coverage. If you go look up Matt Walsh, go look up his episode of Dr. Phil, because the people he was talking to, it was a dude training to be a woman, and she had all the testosterone and stuff, and then you had a guy who had his hair grown out, beard and everything. They couldn't define what a woman was at all. And then you want to go look at the coverage of Matt Walsh, his book Johnny the Walrus, and you want to see just the freaking left just freaking curl up and froth because they try so hard to deny what is happening, what was presented in that book. That book was utter genius, by the way, and I've never seen so many people recoil, go, oh, we're not doing that. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up the video here because we're past 40 minutes. But yeah, people have had it. And I wish I came across this situation when it was going on. I don't hang around the animation community. I don't hang around the furry community, freaking communities. And I'm not hateful, but just what's at the heart and core, no. I even had an argument with someone over the furry community and saying it's never going to be healthy because of what it's at its core. Only to find a video a few days later coming across my desk of the history of the furry community, proving what I had said. Not because I cherry-picked, but because the very start of it was just really repulsive. Anyway, so with that being said, I hope Emily is doing well. I hope she's still able to do her artistic pursuits. I hope she's still going to the college. Granted, this series over 2 years ago. About 3 years ago now, because the document has some stuff from 2015 to 2019, 2020. So I'm really hoping that she's doing okay and makes a comeback. I wouldn't recommend attaching yourself to the same freaking community. You're never going to have reason with those people. It's pearls before swine. You are never going to get what you want out of that community simply because of the way it's going, because of what they stand for, and because of what they allow. So I am sorry you had to deal with any of that. I am sorry that something like that happened to you. So anyway, you guys have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one.